Welcome back. President-elect Trump gearing up for a second term. Energy remains a top priority, even including nuclear energy. Joining me now is BWX Technologies Incorporated President and CEO Rex Geveden. BWX is a nuclear technology and manufacturing company. Rex, great to have you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Tell us about BWX, what it does, and how you fit into this need for energy.
You bet. So BWXT is a nuclear manufacturing and technology company. We're based in Lynchburg, Virginia. We have operating sites all over North America, U.S. and Canada, one in the U.K. And we're exposed to three interesting nuclear markets. One is the national security nuclear market, which is very interesting. We're heavily exposed to that. Clean energy is a big play for us right now, commercial nuclear power. And we're also operating in the nuclear medicine market. So we're technology and manufacturing across the board on nuclear.
These are very interesting areas that you are participating in. Tell us first about national security.
So national security, nuclear, so there are a couple of things going on there. A rise of China as an economic and military power, I think, has galvanized the U.S.'s commitment to its strategic nuclear forces, particularly nuclear navy. The submarines and aircraft carriers are all nuclear powered, and our company, BWXT, provides those nuclear systems. So that's important for us. It's important for national security. It's important for global stability. And then the Russian invasion of Ukraine, I think, caused the world to think differently about energy security. And nuclear is a very strong card to play for nuclear security. And so that's giving lift to nuclear power from the standpoint of energy security.
Yeah, that's incredibly exciting. I know that you see support from the incoming administration in terms of tapping into nuclear as well. I want to get your take on its role with regard to data centers. We talk all the time about this need for more energy capacity, given the fact that AI is demanding more electrification, right?
Well, absolutely, Maria. And I would say that when you look at clean energy, if we are to decarbonize the grid, then nuclear power is the solution for base load. So there's that opportunity. And then you add to that the electrification of everything, including transportation, so that demand's moving from the gas pump to the grid, as an example. And then add AI data center, the one you mentioned, which is creating crazy demand projections for electric power. And so to the extent that you could do a clean energy solution, nuclear is right in the center of that conversation.
I mean, was it Microsoft and Constellation Energy that recently talked about a partnership with regard to this very issue?
That's exactly right. So Microsoft did a deal with Constellation to a power purchase agreement to buy clean energy from restarting the 3 Mile Island reactor. And so that's, sort of the first case in the U.S. of closing the business case around nuclear power for AI data center. And we're seeing more, right? Microsoft and Google and Meta and others have expressed interest in it as well.
So do you expect that we're going to see mergers or partnerships between big tech, perhaps, and energy?
Well, I think that's the interesting part. I think the question is whether or not all this AI data center demand is met by the traditional electricity grid and the utilities, or whether or not they stand up their own data centers and manage it themselves. And so I guess we'll see how that unfolds. But I think the exciting thing is that the business case is closing around nuclear for that application.
I mean, it just seems to me to be dangerous to be in such need of more capacity to fire up everything we're talking about every day, these data centers and AI. I mean, the need is almost at a dangerous level.
Well, it absolutely is. If you look at some of these AI data center projections, they're saying that by 2030 or so, that the incremental demand from data center AI is equal to the entire U.S. nuclear fleet electrical output today, which is, on the order of 100 gigawatts or so. So it's an opportunity and a problem that we have to solve.
So where does the growth come from at BWX, would you say, in the coming 5 years?
Well, it comes from three major areas. This clean energy play that I mentioned, and so we're very involved in commercial nuclear power and exposed to it in the right ways. So that's an exciting opportunity for us. The national security one is where we play very strongly. The Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program, supporting the U.S. government in other ways. We're building a nuclear rocket engine for NASA and DARPA right now for a space application. And then we're leveraged to nuclear medicine, too, which is probably an underappreciated and super interesting part of the nuclear story right now.
It is. Tell me about that. The medicine end of it.
So what's happening is there's a revolution in interventional oncology that's being enabled by nuclear isotopes. And how this works is there are drugs that have been developed that can go specifically to the cancer cell itself, when injected into the body. And so what we're doing is binding a radioisotope to that, taking it right to the cancer cell, a weakly radioactive isotope, strong enough to break the DNA strand of a cancer cell and destroy it,
Huge.
but weak enough that it doesn't damage surrounding healthy tissue. So it's like a very specific kind of radiation treatment. And so what you have, the clinical results are stunning. And so what you have is an opportunity to cure cancer with nuclear medicine with potentially no side effects.
That's unbelievable. That surgical way of targeting just the bad cells around cancer is extraordinary.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we see that nuclear market, that nuclear medicine market, going from about $6 billion at the turn of the decade to maybe $30 billion by 2030.
Big opportunity. Now, BWX acquiring a nuclear materials business from L3 Harris for $100 million. Where does that get you?
Right. So that one fits into our national security market. That business was from L3 Harris. It belonged to Aerojet Corporation before that. What it does, it specializes in depleted uranium. And that's a special kind of material that has applications in tank armor, for example, in penetration systems. And there's some other national security applications. And this company is the only one that can produce that material in the U.S. And so it fits right into our strategic nuclear materials portfolio to support national security.
Well, this is one of the agents, or areas, materials that China is holding back. They don't want to sell it to the West.
Yeah, that's right.
For this very reason.
That's right. That's right. So China certainly is producing some crucial national security related materials, and we need to be super aware of that.
Rex, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be watching this growth story at BWX.
Thank you.
Rex Geveden joining us.